Hello everyone! Welcome to the Cursed Ones, where we play Dungeons and Dragons, and where we are playing a little one-shot tonight. Just the two of us, because, well, let's just say that someone was missing last time, and given the fact that everyone is currently in an island without many ways to just sneak away unscathed, there's been a question in the air, that being, where is Gideon? So, we're here today to answer that question. So, welcome everyone to today's Cursed One-shot. Mad Gods is the title of it. So, let's just quickly run through some introductions and we'll go. Easy as that. Hi, I'm Dean, I'm the Dungeon Master. I play everyone else, and I'm joined with...
Hey, yeah, I'm Tony. I play Gideon Godbrand.
And that's that. So, where we last left off, just to give a quick recap of where we just were, the party had been going through the depths of Seperternum, the fallen land that once belonged to all the elves. However, in the midst of trying to teleport back to kind of the main plaza entrance place of Seperternum, the party realized that Gideon hadn't followed them through the teleportation circle. This was concerning given the fact that things are looking very perilous within Seperternum, and there are a vast amount of threats seemingly around every corner at this point. So, that begs the simple question, where did he go? Without further ado, are you ready to jump into things?
Yeah.
Then let's begin. By all means, you should be focused right now. The discussion of what to do hasn't died down. The road forward hasn't yet been fully decided. There's too many questions and variables that normally you'd be ringing out to find the safest possible outcome in the shortest amount of time. Lens could still be behind that teleportation circle. You still don't have a way past the arcane fallout waterfall. You don't know where this Merrick person is, and you don't even know a fraction of what Zabalba's plan is for that farm. You should be thinking, joining in as Elian rattles off an escape plan, as Yaksha organizes the group's stealth options, and as everyone weighs the consequences of a wrong step. For the life of you, you just can't focus. You can't think. Because you are too busy trying to make sense of what you see through a nearby misshapen window. Is no one else going to point out the crackle in the air? The small buzz of flying sparks? Why is no one else looking at the red glow off in the distance that you have been so thoroughly transfixed by? How are you the only one staring into its orange core, feeling the color as deeply in your veins as sanguine red of your tired, burning blood? Why does it feel so correct to look into? Why does it feel so wrong? It's like looking into a true fundamental paradox. Your skin itches. You faintly hear the sound of agreements made, a plan in motion. It's time to leave, but there's an answer in front of you. You somehow deeply know it. So as the loud snap of Elian's hands send the teleportation circle into movement, you find yourself stepping to the side. And you are now alone, with a light in the distance.
I think just standing there, looking at it, trying to decipher what it is and what it means, I think Gideon just starts walking towards it, getting closer and closer.
If you want to look a little bit further into it, I'm going to give you 4 options here. You can roll Arcana, Investigation, Insight, or Perception.
I'll roll, let's do Arcana.
All right.
Yeah, let's do Arcana.
Staring into this light in front of you, you start to try and figure out how to unravel sheer, powerful splendor of Umbra before you. And what did you get for that Arcana?
34.
Your sweat runs hot against your face. Your cheeks are burning. The nerve-ripe scar on your face normally gives a blissful numbness, but all of a sudden it's different. As you start to stare into this curling inferno in front of you, as you start to make your way towards it, you find yourself feeling this kind of rushing air around you, and then the licorice taste on your lips has turned that typical numbness on your scar tissue to a horrible, frantic stinging. You knew this sensation because you once lived it. It's sweaty. Like the midst of a sauna, the air feels hormonal. Just uncontrolled emotions where you're trying desperately to stop feeling something. An anger, a fear, a head-pounding, infectious upset. As you start to look in and unravel the swirling arcana in front of you, you find yourself in the burning remains of your own mind and memory. Because you're at the point of paradox again. Hand outstretched, spell in palm. It's right there, but it's wrong. That doesn't make sense. Planar paradox didn't glow that infectious color. It couldn't have. That color doesn't exist. The raging red and orange doesn't exist. It's conniption. Its existence isn't real. It's not real. It's not real. It's not real! Zabalba had control over that memory for decades. Something must have happened to it. The information corrupted. Something not right. Maybe the color of that light... Maybe it's all just wrong. But then again, maybe this is what it was. Maybe something got obscured along the way. It had to have. You fall into this memory, and just as quick as you fall into it, you feel horrid rattling underneath you. And your body lurches, and a voice appears out of the distance, as if it's always been trying to get through to you, but you just haven't been able to hear it, as just out of nowhere, piercing into your ears, you hear, "Your dedication to ignoring me is going to walk us both off this thing, you deranged thaumaturge. Are you looking to join in your species' mass grave?" As Hilo shrieks into your ears.
I think with everything going on right now, I think Gideon barely even hears him. Just, even, like, for once, I think even Hilo screaming is sort of taking a backseat to everything else going on right now as Gideon keeps moving forward.
You move forward, and I need you to make an acrobatics check.
Okay. Uh, 15.
15. You continue to walk forward, and you feel in a sudden stomach and chest lurching movement as your entire body from your front foot just goes down, and you immediately, just instinctively, your hands throw back around you, and just in time you grab onto the bars of the side, this contraption that you found yourself on. Concerningly, when that memory flashed by, you don't recall having seen anything in the distance that looks like what you're currently in. In fact, you've lost sight of that red flame in the distance. By the time all those flashes concluded, you're no longer there, and Hilo was right. You were dangerously close to a cliff face. No. It doesn't make sense. You were just in the cities. The great silhouette of mismatched shapes leading up to the clockwork tower of the luminary. There were crystals that look like stars, but you are now decidedly in the dark, hanging off of something metal. Something that's descending.
Can I try getting on whatever the top of this thing is?
You immediately, I'm assuming that you're just like pulling your foot back up so that you can stand and get better footing again.
Yeah.
You absolutely do. Have you come to your senses? Still blocking him out?
Yeah, I'm just trying to take in my surroundings and figure out where exactly I am right now.
Would you like to go ahead and roll perception now?
Yeah, I'll go for that.
Got it.
Cloak gives me advantage. Thank God, because that was on that one. So that is... let's see, what is that? Still not great, though. That's only a, 12.
12. It's hard to see. Just considering the fact that it's so blastedly dark down here that even your dark vision doesn't seem to fully stretch out to map everything out. But at the very least, you can tell what's around you. You're on some sort of contraption. A mining elevator attached to a single chain rattling pulley system that, when you look up, well, That's where the Luminary City went. The glint of rock formation stars losing their luster due to the depth you find yourself descending into. There are only a couple of bars kind of making up the skeleton of this thing, but if you had stepped any further and not caught yourself on said bars, you would have had a long fall down. Your dark vision just betrays you. You can't see what you're going into. The world, though, should not go this deep.
Yes,
That's
Gideon waits for it to keep descending to see what's at the bottom.
I think while it's still descending, and while you're just kind of silently waiting for it to make its way to its final destination. So what? We're just alone and you're gonna keep ignoring me? You start running and teleporting like a man on a mission to get to this thing? Where are we?
I'm not sure. I mean, even accounting for how much Seperternum has sunk, I can't imagine what this was originally. How deep this is, it doesn't track geographically.
And have you a reason for this detour? Not that I'm complaining. I could seldom breathe with my brother's loathsome aura around. And now it's just you and me, but it's running off like that. Doesn't seem all that becoming of one who has their wits about them, does it?
Trying to identify something, and sometimes it's quicker just to get things done quickly as possible. Just get it done with.
Speaking of getting things done, then, well, I seem to recall a promise you made to me a while back. A concept you proposed, a new order for gods. So since you've been so busy recently, looking into things, how's that been going?
Going well enough. The theological framework is in place. Looking through historical documents and theological documents, I've been able to establish a baseline. We've got certain parameters that would be needed for this. The work is there, and it's being done.
Right. And do you ever plan on filling me in on this? This is supposed to be our agreement, is it not? It's why I've given you so much leeway as of late.
Yes. And we've also established why certain levels of communication aren't helpful.
Oh, don't give me that. There is at least a little you can inform me of. We are coming to an agreement here, a collaboration. At the end of the world with mad gods all around us. There are ways we can communicate. You just haven't even tried. You've been ignoring not just me, but everyone else around you. Don't give me that.
I've been ignoring them to do the work.
Right.
To get things done.
You're sure you're not getting distracted?
No. I'm not. We're in the remains of Seperternum. In a sea of arcane fallout. The things that can be discovered here that were here before anything else is invaluable.
Right. The remains of Corellin's old workplace. You know, he was one of the worst of my siblings. Always had a little bit too strong of ideas, but never the foresight to realize what is too far. What is beyond perfection and turns into something horrible. Twisted, corrupting, unfurling, and that's all I see down here is the remnants of a mad god. What makes a mad god? Is that what you are?
That what you are?
Is that what I am? Is that what I am? Is that what you think of me?
Well, you certainly haven't been a calm god, all things considered.
I'm not talking of emotion here, I'm talking of pure, raw, fundamental madness, Gideon. Do you really still not consider yourself a god?
Godhood seems like it includes more fallibility than is worth it at this point.
Ye of little faith. It's not even about your decision at this point. With me inside your breast, you certainly have the power. Not yours, none of it yours, but nevertheless, you are a vassal of force strong enough. You have the followers, too, so it seems. So when, oh when, are you gonna give up the charade that it's your choice here? You could do so much more. You just open the right door. Have I grown repetitive? Perhaps. But you can't deny. The stakes are growing to a level too astronomical for something as fragile as mortality.
I'm well aware of that fact.
Something's gotta give. I just truly do hope that you're putting your mind towards the right things, and that your head is in the right place for what needs to be done, and isn't distracted, running off into meaningless darkness, away from everyone. That would be mad. For now, Hilo recedes, with a slight distant cackle. Right as you feel a lurching creak of the iron bars around you, as you feel the lift stop and press against the ground. It's soft, the ground is.
Gideon takes a step off.
Your boot squishes against the floor. You find purchase against fabric as you do.
Alright. Can I make anything out around me?
With your dark vision, I'll give you this at a first glance. The floor is nigh entirely clothes that make up the way forward. Millions of old, discarded, and warped and stretched garments, some with those who once wore them still inside, but most are just alone. You never got to grow up in Seperternum garb, never got to wear the plates of the knights nor the great robes of the wizards, or even just a nice outfit you'd wear out to the tavern with a friend, so I don't think you can begin to picture yourself wearing anything that's on this ground, even if they were your size and fit. It's woefully foreign, the textiles and patterns, despite being the school uniforms you were supposed to grow into. Besides that, on first glance, you notice the walls, stretching up for infinitum. Hell, you can't even see where you came from, where that left should go back up to. It's just so deep. And the walls are definitely not made of stone. No, they're not. You see the slight outline of organic shapes, cracked, petrified, frozen, like the remains of Pompeii, one would say, with their hair an unreadable color kind of stretched out, and a lot of them warped in spirals together. That's a first glance. If you want to look into anything a bit further, by all means.
Is there a direction I can continue down here?
There is a way further into the darkness.
Yeah, I think Gideon keeps moving forward, trying to just really identify what this place is and its purpose. Since just the inclusion of the lift seems like this might have been after the fall.
Yeah, do you want to go ahead and make a check here? Like, I'm curious as to what route you'd want to go down to figure this out.
Investigation, maybe just seeing if I can identify what the purpose.
Gotcha.
Or if any of like the structures or items around imply anything.
Yeah, I would say investigation.
Cool. That is a that's not great. 15.
15 is good enough to say that yes, this is definitely a relatively new construction. You can just tell by the way that the kind of bars and such of that weird pulley system just They haven't been eroded over time, nor have they been, victim to all of the stretching that everything else has gone through. Another thing you're able to make out are those bodies, because they look exactly like those elves you saw getting farmed. Though these ones perhaps are somehow just a bit more distorted than the others. They're the rejects. This, in a sense, is a ground for them to be buried.
Does it seem like any of them are still alive, or just organic messes of flesh that are... Well, maybe... Are they... Let me rephrase that. Are they sentient, conscious, or just sort of lumps of flesh?
I'd say that you kind of head a little bit closer to some of these walls to try and get a gauge if anything gives you a reaction or if anything's breathing. Nothing flinches, nothing moves. Everything does indeed look petrified, though your passive perception, what is it?
Oh, passive perception, that is 21.
You hear just slightly, faintly, as you walk towards this wall. A choked noise. Something faint under the cave ambience. Slow, heavy breathing.
Ooh, okay, then I think I will cast invisibility
Gotcha.
and get closer.
You your ear twitches, and immediately, just hearing this noise, unsure as to what could be down here, you go invisible under the veil of all of this. You tentatively make your way across the carpet floor, making sure that you're not stepping on anything that might alert anything that could be prowling down here, that could have been forgotten down here, shunned for whatever reasons Balba, of all things, would have to throw out parts. Eventually, you make your way to where the noise is kind of centralizing from, and you realize it's coming from below. A bit of nearby clothing pile up. It's underneath something, just a pile of these clothes. It's not part of the Great Wall.
Alright, then I think I'll walk over and carefully peel away the fabric, not making any too big of action that would break my invisibility.
Yeah, the clothes are very matted and stuck together with kind of ancient cave resin and mummified remains, so just throwing them away like a pile of laundry is kind of unthinkable. I will say, as you start, though, to try and, very gently, push stuff in a way that makes enough leverage to maybe get at least a glimpse further, your eye catches a slight glow under this aspect of the pile. It's that same confounding light. Orange, red, impossible. Digging deeper is going to require more force here.
Yeah, I mean, sure, fuck it. I'll keep digging further then.
All right, go ahead and roll. It's up to you if you're just gonna try to dig at it normally. If you're doing anything else for base, just digging at it would be athletics, because it's incredibly matted together. It's like pulling hanks and shit out. They're all tangled and knotted.
Gotcha. Then I will.
Gideon's famous good athletics.
Yeah, I guess I'll fuck it. I'll try just peeling it away with athletics and use familiar to give advantage, just to see if that'll help. Maybe. Basically, just rolling flat here.
Your cat hops off your shoulder, claws at it as
16.
well. With a 16, DC was 15. That is enough. So as you bend over and start kind of reaching and raking through these piles of clothes and just shoving things to the side, kind of just at this point, I don't even think that. I think you'll keep your invisibility. I'll allow that.
Okay.
But
okay.
Whatever is down here, at the very least, might get a tell that something is uncovering it.
Yeah.
And speaking of that thing, as you manage to yank and peel the last bit of heavy clothing over, you bear witness to a rusted metal grate, and in a small ditch underneath. Ooh. Is that my Wi-Fi that cut out? Okay, we're good. In a small ditch underneath, you see one of those farmed things. His skin has been shrunken down and mummified to his bones. It holds a strange amount of moisture to it, a neck too long with a collarbone far too shrunken. You hardly know how it's keeping its head up. Due to the small space he's been cramped into, all his long legs look fully locked into horrible contortions. As you unveil and move the clothes away, you hear the cracking of its neck bones as it moves its head up to where you are, but it can't see you. You see eyes clouded in clots of blood and the gloss of dribbling umbra moisture. You can't tell what color his hair should be, not under all the slick oil-like grime matting it down. Most interestingly enough, though, is that he is in wizarding garb. High wizarding garb. The high exalted outfits that many professor instructors would wear at the academy with the long robes, and you can even see the hat tossed to the side. If he were to have just scavenged random clothes from this environment, you heavily doubt he could have just grabbed this set. It was either put on him, or he changed into whatever he is while wearing the garb. He's looking up to where you aren't. He clearly doesn't know what's unveiled him. And they're still just gasping.
Do I see what the source of that light was now that I've fully uncovered it?
The second that you do, it vanishes. It's just him.
Tim. Do I see anything else down there with him? Or just him in his garbs?
Him in his garbs, but I think looking a little further at him, you might notice something extra, probably interesting about his physique and form. Under the garbs is that there's parts of the garb that kind of stretches inward, and you notice kind of like his entire stomach region has been contorted inwards into a spiral that should not exist out of flesh. It just goes inward.
Then I think I'll get up and leave it uncovered and keep moving deeper into this place.
Got it. I'm gonna have you roll stealth at advantage.
Okay.
This was an elf. Its hearing is still pretty good.
That is a...
And I need to roll as well.
That was a 22.
22. Let me see. You stand up. You swear you don't make a sound. You don't hear anything. You hear, Are you my boy? From down at the grates. Hello? Speaking in uncorrupted Elvish.
Let me check something real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so invisibility is only broken by attacks and casting a spell. So I can speak. Yeah, and it won't break it. I think Gideon will just, I guess, lean down and whisper, who are you?
They got rid of my name. Can I speak it again?
You can.
Elias. Ivastar. I was a wizard. You sound like the one in the star.
What do you mean, the one in the star?
There's a star down here. Lucky, lucky star, lucky star. It shows things, visions, truths, existences. You sound like one of the ones I saw in the star.
You know where I can find it? The star?
It moves. It's been covered in my kin, those things. They don't like it being bright down here. It's too bright for them, so they cover it. It's underneath them. As he is speaking this to you, there is a slight tremor and rumbling in the ground. He doesn't seem fazed by it. You can certainly tell he feels it by the way he slightly braces his body. Yes, the fallen star. Fallen star.
Do you know where I can find it, where your kin have covered it up?
Oh, its movements. It moves in the earth. They can only crawl. They weigh it down.
Okay. I guess with the rumbling going on, then, can I feel if it's going in a specific direction?
You kind of like tune into like the tremors that are kind of like pulsing out through the ground. And I think off about 60, 80 feet in the distance, you see in the mass of shadows, there is one much larger that is displaced a bit from the rest of the shadowed wall, and it's just very slowly moving in time with the tremors. So it's quite nearby.
I think I'm gonna start making my way over to it then.
I can't help you. I wish I could.
Alright.
They neutered my arcana. You've got so much magic. Don't let them take it from you. Don't let anyone hold it back. Even if they tell you it's blasphemous, it is, but the gods have abandoned us anyways.
Gideon keeps moving now.
As you do, the last thing you hear from him is just, I wonder why we've suffered this long. No more. Say, no more. And a small crack of a neck rolling to the side. You, indeed, just stand up away from him and walk away.
And I just move towards the mass, slowly, trying to not alert anything.
With that stealth roll that you made earlier, I'm gonna not make you roll it again, and I'll just disadvantage. Yeah, that's a natural one. It most certainly has not taken notice of you.
Alright.
But as you start to approach and it extends into the range of your dark vision, you are able to see what he meant. A falling star, covered by bodies strewn awry, their poses great and romantically sprawled and fused against one another. Their flesh is young, but withered by an inability to move, a horrid undulating moon to eclipse the light underneath it. You see the peaks of starlight, but it's hidden under the horrible sounds of wriggling things, clicking bones. Hair strands stretch across it like spider webs. Crimson red and orange, veiled in oil and shadow. It's just undulating across the floor, making its way across the wreckage, sniffing things, just moving, just existing, just occasionally letting out these low, grumbling howls that you realize have been part of this cave ambiance the whole time you've been down here. It's not seemingly on a hunt or anything, it's just doing its thing.
Alright, are there any gaps in the mass? Maybe something Gideon could crawl through just to get to the star underneath?
Roll investigation.
Alright. 23.
You think that you see a small opening between a kind of set of interlocking hands with a couple of heads nearby it that are kind of lulled forward. There's a way in, but it's an insanely tight squeeze, and it's surrounded by bodies.
And how large is this mass?
This is gargantuan. It's fucking huge. But the actual hole inside would have to be a squeeze.
Okay. I think... Alright, yeah, I have the right spells. I think Gideon's gonna try to make his way in. I have some spells for if things go wrong. Yeah, I think he's gonna try to squeeze through.
Okay, so you're gonna start approaching this thing. You start making your tentative steps towards this creature in front of you. As you step within 30 feet, there's a sudden spiking pulse in your head, as I need you to quickly take a wisdom saving throw.
Mm-hmm.
As you feel this reverberating echo suddenly burst out from all sides of this thing.
24.
24. So you hear your ears ringing just in your skull, absolutely reverberating this horrible clattering noise like a tuning fork has been rang against your brain itself. Thankfully, you're able to blink your eyes open, but all you felt in that moment was just madness. Just madness. Like the beginning of crawling into one of those horrible episodes where nothing is real, nothing makes sense, it's not there. Things that don't exist are in front of you, and you fought it off, but you hear now that you are this close the gibbering, the whispering, the noises, undulating chaos from all of these bodies strewn about. And is he gonna come back for us? When is he gonna come home? Just kind of voices begging, rolling against one another, reaching out.
Gideon just tries to press forward as best as he can then.
Alright, you kind of try and shield your mind and continue to step forward towards this thing. As you reach the point where you're kind of like right next to the mass, and there's that little hole to squeeze up into, you can definitely go for it. I'm gonna have you roll... Ooh. I think I'm gonna have you roll acrobatics here to get into it and just squeeze through as quick as you can without getting noticed or anything.
Gotcha. That is a 17.
So, you just kind of walking next to this great beast are going to slowly just trying your best not to touch any of them, just moving past the bodies. You go forward, you get your hands in first, you start reaching forward, kind of army crawling, getting yourself as small as possible. And as you start, you slip in to that madness and the light in front of you. Feel a hand on your ankle. He's back! He's back! He's back! He's back! He's back! Roll for initiative.
Okay.
As you are grabbed by the ankle and start to feel all of this mass undulate around you. Okay, ba-ba-ba. And I need to quickly pull something up for you.
Alright. Got a 19 in initiative.
19 initiative, perfect. Let me just open this up. 19, and that is versus... Let me just find this. Ba-ba-ba. Let me close the tab that is my fucking banking information so I don't accidentally leak that on stream. Okay. And let me quickly pull up a small battle map for you.
Alright.
Ba-ba-ba. Where the fuck? Oh, Roll20 updated. That's fucking weird. Interesting. Alright. So, let me pull that up. Share my screen. Ba-ba-ba. There we go. So, right in front of you is this kind of massive undulating force that you are trying to squeeze yourself into ahead of you. You are 5 feet away from it, and you are first in initiative.
Cool. If I were to cast, do I think that if I were to cast Banishment, the star would also just appear, or just the creature?
Ooh. The thing is that this is technically multiple creatures. This is a swarm.
No, it's a swarm.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, can I tell how many creatures the swarm is, or how does swarm work with spells, AoE spells that have a limited amount of AoE, or?
Basically the entire creature, like limited targets.
Like, you know, like some like AoE spells, you can only target up to 6 or 8 or something.
Up to 6 or 8. Swarm creatures technically, like for the sake of I think cases like this, creatures that are classified under a swarm count as just like one instance of that damage done to the entire swarm.
Well, I'm talking about like status effect spell, not damage.
Oh, like sleep and such?
Yeah, sure. As an example.
Okay, yeah. As an example, I think it works in the way that... God, it really fucking... This is like... swarms are insane. I think it would work in the way... I think it would just work on the whole creature. Just like as a unit. If it hits certain thresholds, yeah.
But single target spells wouldn't work on it, like Banishment?
A single target wouldn't work, no.
Okay. If that's the case, then I...
Just out of curiosity, can you hear the music on this?
I can, yes.
Hell yeah. Get Bloodborne. Alright, so...
Can I tell if... it's covering it, it's like over it. Can I tell if it's also, how do I phrase this? Can I tell if it's also, like, wrapped under it too? Like, basically, like, fully orbed around it, or just like a dome?
It is most certainly, like, there are creatures just all around this thing. It is fully wrapped up. It is not a dome, it is a circle. Okay. Yeah, it's a circle. It's a full sphere.
All right. Full sphere.
You could probably, like, best picture it. I'll just say it in Elden Ring terms. It's like those fucked up wizard balls. Kind of that ordeal.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay, if that's the case, then I think I will cast up, shit, what should I cast? What about something like Steel Wind Strike, which can target multiple creatures? How would that work against this?
You would do all instances against that creature.
I don't know if I want to kill this thing. That was the thing. Alright. I gotta have...
And while you're doing this too, I think just like to give some flavor while you're thinking, you just feel this burning sensation around them, especially as your ankle is grabbed and you are kind of like pulled out of it. And you see all of these eyeless faces turning towards the location that your invisible form is, though you have yet to be revealed. Everyone is still looking in the direction of where it felt something, and there's still a clatter of, where is it? Is there someone new? Come and join us, please! There's a heat in the air that this thing lets out.
Let's see. Fuck it. I'm gonna try casting slow on it.
Okay, absolutely. So what do I need to roll for that?
I think that's a wisdom save, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it's a wisdom save.
Got it. So, quickly you're gonna cast slow. Okay, wisdom, and I have advantage on saving throws against spells and other effects. I'll just throw that out there for you. So that's a 19, so that's plus. That is going to be a 32.
Okay, silvery barbs.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. I think you feel your magic go towards it, and you just feel it hit a fortified, spiraling moat of chaos, I think is the best way. Like, it gets absorbed in the calamity of all of them. But again, I rolled again, and I got a dirty 20. Does that pass against yours?
That does not pass. That does not pass.
Okay, slow. So, I can only take one action per turn. Slow 5.
No reactions, spell. It's hard to cast spells. -2 to AC and dex saves, half speed. Yeah.
So yeah, immediately, like, you feel your magic hitting this kind of, like, moat wall of force, but you quickly twist the air around it so that your spell connects, and at once you see all of these limbs that are starting to reach forward kind of go into a slow, undulating crawl as they're all kind of reaching slowly towards you, and just, you hear those, like, brittle bones cracking.
Cool, if that... Okay, then I'm... When I was in the tunnel, did I see how far, like, the star thing was from the,
You saw
like,
a light...
how many feet would it take to, like, get to it?
You saw a light in the distance. I don't think you were able to fully discern how far it is in there just yet. From base glance.
Gotcha.
I'll just say it's deceptively deep.
15, 20. Alright. If that's the case, then I think... Yeah, I think that just might be the end of my turn.
You end your turn within 30 feet of this.
Yeah.
If you end your turn within 30 feet of this creature, you are going to take 10 points of fire damage, and you need to roll a wisdom saving throw again.
Okay.
As you feel the heat in the air beginning to rise, as there is this kind of like rising heat, and you do notice once again from those small cracks between bodies, once again, just red, orange, red, orange, red, orange. It's scorching, it's burning, it's spiraling. All right.
I got a, what is that, a 27.
27, you succeed though, you once again shield and like fortify your mind, but you still take that fire damage, 10 points.
Okay.
Okay, so.
And I do want to be positioned in front of, like, the way in.
You definitely are. Yeah, I have you there already.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Alright.
Alright, so, with that underway, that is going to be the end of your turn, so it's this thing's turn, so with slow, wisdom saving throw, target speed is halved, -2 penalty to AC dexterity. Okay, so I can only do one action. Understood.
Like,
so,
one attack. It's not even one action. It's
one attack.
It kind of is. It depends. Yeah.
For the basic sense. Yeah. I think what I'm going to do, if that's the case, is I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Is it casting something?
It's not a spell though. It is just an ability here.
Oh, okay.
It's a recharge 5, it's a recharge 5/6 ability is the thing.
Gotcha.
So, as you kind of like are looking for your way in, I think you see part of its body slightly turn around, and you are once again met with those kind of like never-ending eye sockets that are staring towards you. Did taking the fire damage reveal your invisibility?
Well, I had to casting a spell revealed invisibility.
Oh, yeah. That would do it. Yeah. So I think as they fully get a look of your form, you see once again just slowly all these hands reaching out and hear kind of these small utters of, "You're like us. You're like him. You're just like us. Come to us now. You'll be safe with us." And these hands reach out and you feel something twisting into your mind. So Constitution saving throw, what did you get?
I got a, what is that, 23?
Okay,
yeah,
23. That is going to succeed. So you're going to take half damage from this.
Okay.
So that is going to be 18 points of fire damage. And once again, you just feel this burning sensation. This thing is trying to crawl into your mind, but you are still fighting it off, and instead just dealing with the brunt of flames. That is about all it can do. Yep, that's all it can do with its turn, cool. So that's gonna be that. Your turn.
Cool, I just want to try to get to the fucking thing.
Fuck yeah. Okay, acrobatics again. To at least, like, start crawling inside.
Ooh, hell yeah. That is a 21.
21? Okay, absolutely. So you are going to, so you kind of, like, once again, just go for it. Just jump towards it. You actually see the hands reaching out to try and pull you in as well, but I'm sure that you're just pushing them off and just going for it. So you start crawling inside, and yeah, you kind of go in. And that is the point where basically it opens up to the whole map, and you're kind of just met with this. So you are at the bottom.
God damn.
And you're heading towards... Let's just call this a star. But it's
And
as
how-
it shows on the fucking tin.
How far away does it seem to be?
Well, it appears to be 90 feet away.
90 feet. Let's see. How much movement did I use getting in?
You would have used 10 feet of movement, because it was like a climb up and then getting in.
Cool, 10 feet. And then And bonus action. I'm gonna bonus action try to activate my wing.
Gotcha.
Actually, wait. Let me. I have a lot
Your
of
wings are
options here.
already out.
Oh,
Because
they already are out?
because last session
yeah,
Alice yep, there you go. So with your wings outstretched, like you kind of crawl inside and you finally break past that threshold. You're able to kick away a hand that goes to drag you out of it, and you just see this expanse stretch out towards you, where in the distance you see what it meant by a star and just chaos around you.
And I think you said that is the fly speed separate from my walking speed total?
Yes.
That's what you said, right? Or okay.
No.
Because I remember there was okay.
It's
Because I remember there was a time I walked and then I was able to fly the rest of the way, but I don't know if that was just a mistake rolling at that point.
That was a mistake ruling. That was a
Okay.
Dino fucks up moment.
Okay. I need to check. How much fly speed does it give me? I gotta check.
Azamar, Protector, Azamar, surely 30, yeah?
Yeah, feels right, but I don't know.
We're both doing the lean in. All right. Protector.
Okay, yeah, 30 feet of fly speed.
Okay, 30 feet of fly speed. So you outstretch your wings, and I'm assuming are just going to take off forward the second that you get enough room to start flying?
I'm gonna bonus action Misty Step, action dash, so that should get me 80 feet forward.
Yes. So 80 feet, so you would get right there. Oop, fuck, tabbed off. So yeah, immediately you break forward and just like teleport ahead and start flying. And you start to see the light in the distance, kind of surrounded by this moat of glowing and just radiant chaos. You see a number of outstretched hands before you as well, leading towards this, quote, star. You are very close. Is that the end of your turn?
Yeah, that's the end of my turn right now.
Okay, you are going to need to roll a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. That is That's a 23.
23. So, 23 succeeds, and once again, you just feel this horror still trying to crawl into you. You are only going to take that 10 points of fire damage, and you are not going to have to deal with any other circumstances, as just the walls of this place are burning. They're scorching against your hand as like, it is red hot, especially the closer you get. So, that's going to be your turn. This thing is still under the effects of slow. So you are basically inside of this thing. In the best way I can describe it, you have basically entered its domain. So it can still only do one attack action against you, but I am gonna... You kind of feel behind you as there is this rush of energy that goes flooding down this hole and pathway by you, and you, like, if you for a second look behind you, for a split second, you just see a number of hands reaching towards you, and just hear, it keeps growing, and you and everyone and all of us, as I need you to roll a Constitution saving throw once again.
Did it immediately recharge that thing? God damn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh shit! Hell yeah! That is that's a 30.
Okay, 30, and it can't take reaction, so that is a 30. You are going to succeed, so you're going to take half damage. So you are going to take, that's halved to 2. You're going to take 24 points of fire damage this time.
All right.
And that is all it can do. Unfortunately, just due to the slow. So, it is your turn.
Okay, I mean, I guess I can move another 10 feet forward. Because you said it was 90 feet away, right?
Sure did. So, behind you, with this kind of outstretched ring of hands still trying to surge towards you, they're now starting to just get desperate behind you as you make your last steps towards it. No, you can't go in. You're not supposed to know. No one's supposed to know. We're keeping it hidden. We're keeping it hidden because it's why it shunned all of us. Because we were too much like it. Do you take your final step ahead?
I do.
With the hands unable to reach you, you take one last glance behind you, seeing them fail as they kind of slack to the side. There's a desperation in them. Don't. Please. Don't end up like us. Don't end up like him. You move forward into the blinding, listening starlight. You're met with a single mote in a pit of sudden and overwhelming darkness. You don't know exactly the nature of whatever this is, what kind of domain this is, though you do fully understand what that man meant by the star. Because in front of you, with everything else vanished and sent off into who knows where, into oblivion, you're left with a single mote of starlight in front of you.
Can I roll something to try to identify what it is? Just understand what I'm even staring at right now?
Yeah, roll Arcana.
Alright. Uh, 25.
Answers. You've been looking for answers, for a solution to a question. Last time, you star-wished. You asked for an answer. And the stars were not able to provide you with one. You get the sense that what you're looking at is less of a physical star out in the galaxy as they so often stay, but rather it's a piece of something bigger. It's a fragment. Part of an answer. It's a clue. And as you kind of examine the edges and outside and surrounding of it, it might not immediately be what you've been looking for, but there's this sensation that kind of crawls at the back of your neck. A question that I'm not sure if Gideon's had the time to even think about recently. But I'm just curious to ask you. Has it crossed Gideon's mind what his life could have been like? Things were different. Has he entertained the even thought of that?
I think he thought of it long, well, maybe not too long ago, but a while ago. I think maybe it was a little bit after his escape from Zabalba. I think at some point, when he still had it, he probably wished the scry spell, just to check in on his parents to see what they're like. And if you just give me a little leeway here, I imagine what he saw was just a decently happy Fey couple, or elven couple in the Fey Wilds. Maybe they have a new kid. and they're just living a peaceful, quiet life there. And I think it was after that, seeing how they had utterly moved on, and seeing that he didn't really have much else left, that he just sort of stopped contemplating it. Said it wasn't worth it anymore. There was nothing to be found there for him. And those imaginations and those ideas.
Here's another question I have for Gideon then. Given the recent discussions with Hilo, given the recent unwinding, given the recent, I guess, attention brought to the concept that, Gideon, you were always doomed to some sort of madness. Do you believe this to be a lie, or do you believe this to be true? Is that something that you think was just made up, or? Were you doomed?
I think if Gideon really had to think about it, looking at the facts of it all, I think, I don't know, on some level he does believe that maybe it wouldn't have been in this specific way or manifested in these specific ways, but I do think on some level he thinks it would have happened regardless.
Then one final question I have for Gideon. As you are gazing upon this light, you recently have been called many a name, have been thrown many an allegation. Your wellness of your sanity, your will of what you are, who you are. Do you currently reject the notion of madman that everyone has set upon you? Where does this lie in your brain? What do you consider yourself? And how, I guess, do you feel about your madness?
I think Gideon would usually come up with something more rational or more well thought through. But I think in this specific instance, all he really has to think to himself is that it's his, and it's his alone, and he doesn't give a damn about the thoughts and words about anyone else on this topic.
You hear a voice trickle into the back of your neck, and you're not sure who it is, or what it is, or where, or why. How come? Don't let me breathe. Then how come you can't let us out? How come you can't accept it? Please.
I don't know how.
You call this out. Respond to the voice. You don't know how. Do you want to?
Yes.
You utter that single word out. Yes. There is a sudden contorting miasma in your brain. No, no, no. No, 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 you're perfect. You have to keep yourself together. Gideon! Her shrill voice claps through the air like a thunderbolt. The perfect tenor to make your ears ring. Captain of the honor guard or not, while you're under our roof, you will show respect at the dinner table. Sit up straight. You spend most of your nights and time in the knight's quarters. Always on guard, always alert. It's seldom that you come home for many reasons. The one you most often echo is that you're busy protecting the outer walls, busy protecting the last sight of humanity, busy carrying the world on your shoulders, but, well, it's never amounted to much. Your mother sits in her old, too-tight blouse that seems to choke around her throat, making her voice slightly raspy at the edge. Her red hair has been dyed over in a blanched blonde. A couple roots reveal their bloody secrets, but she's done well to dye the rest of it out and tie it up into an ever-so-neat bun. Next to her, your father, old, weathered grey mane, sharp eyes. He's not muscular by any means, but there's just a visage of brutish strength. His movements are slower. Eyes cast their judgment from the side instead of front on. You've been demanded a rest day. 8 hours where you're not allowed to work. Damn near banned from the Knight's Hall. Lenz decreed it on behalf of Eldrin after a near 2-day escapade on the outer perimeter of Seperternum. And despite this being your day off, you're still in that armor. You have to be, lest the comments at the table be less fixable than posture. Despite the armor, your arc blade is at Lenz's workshop for repairs. It takes physical effort to unclench your teeth when the hefty blade is not carrying the full burden. Do you fix your posture, Gideon Gibraltar?
I think he does, yeah.
She slightly kind of rolls her eyes off to the side and continues picking at her dinner, which is just a kind of modest affair. There are so many new mouths to feed on Seperternum, and yet, despite that, somehow, you've ended up with a lavish meal. All good?
Yeah.
Got it. So, as I'm assuming, just out of curiosity, are you also just, what are you doing at the dinner table? Are you picking at your dinner? What is Gideon's thought process? Like, how much has he gone into this?
I think Gideon is just trying to politely but quickly finish his meal just to make this last as short amount of time as it needs to be, and so he can just move on with the rest of his night.
Thankfully, you don't have to wait all too long, because instead of finding an excuse in finishing your food quick enough, you instead find an excuse with a knock at the front door. And of course, the eyes immediately trail up to you at the table. You're the heroic knight. You open the door.
I think, Gideon gets up, nods, and then goes to the door to open it.
You take down the hallway. The house was more quaint before a cut of the excess funds they received from being family to the head of the honor guard gave them a bit more lavish of a taste. What used to be old credenzas covered in dust are now garish bits of marble, and far too many portraits of them, none of you. There's a keyhole in the door, or you could go to open it without looking.
I think he just opens it without looking.
And you swing the door open to a man with his hair braided up into a top bun, donning this kind of strange outfit. The honor guard tailors have attempted to make his overalls look more in line with the polished regalia of their other high-ranking officials, but Lenz always finds it a way just to make it look like an oil-stained mess. Young wolf, how's your day off been treating you?
It's been fine. I'd rather be back at work, but I suppose I'll deal with it as it is. What brings you here?
Your arc blade is finished repairs. I'd bring it, but you already know I can't lift that thing for the life of me.
I'll go pick it up. And I think I'll turn around to I'll turn around to my parents and I'll go, Sorry, mother, father, but you'll need to excuse me. I've matters to attend to with the royal guard.
You see, you hear like the of a voice starting to chirp up, and then immediately her eyes settle on Lens, and there's this smile that kind of rides up of just, of course. Oh, you're not even going to invite him inside. That's okay. Next time, Mr. Lome. It's like, right. Next time, I'll be sure to come in and have an actual, I don't know, cup of tea or something. But for now, yes, we are quite busy, you know?
Yes.
And you both step out. He closes the door behind you, looks up, crosses his arms. Still giving you trouble?
Nothing I can't deal with. Though if the repairs are finished, I would like to get my blade back quickly.
Then I guess we should walk.
Yes, let's.
As you're walking, the shine of the Great Barrier over Seperternum casts its gentle, starry glow over the sky of the island. There's far too many people in the streets. The rest of the living world damn near appeared on your doorstep, and there's not enough houses for everyone. Lens has to veer you off into a side path to his workshop to avoid the horrible busyness. As you're walking, there's a bit of a quiet, as if he wants to breach a topic but isn't quite sure how to get the right words, but eventually he settles on, so, it's grown about an extra half-foot since I last took him in for repairs. Have you, had a chance to shed your armor and check how your runes are holding up?
Yes. Seems like they've grown a bit. Nothing unwieldy, though.
Must be rough work with Hilo at our door, but at the very least everyone seems to be holding their ground with you off for the day. You haven't exactly had a week off since you were an apprentice. I could always propose an extension of a couple more days off to Veldrin.
I'm quite alright.
Sure, you could swing near the forge more often. You and Lily could go help at one of the soup kitchens or something.
No, I think I'm where I need to be.
Right. Yes. Once again, he kind of just bites at his lip and bites away a comment, but is just gonna bow his head and kind of like resign himself to that. As you guys continue to walk down the streets, though, as you're getting so close to getting your hands back on your arc blade, there is a very sudden in front of you as a small burst of stardust appears before you both, and you hear the panting sounds of a woman. Gibraltar! Sir, it's urgent. Soris, wielder of the arc blade, her helmet off and eyes shockingly bloodshot. She's acted as second hand for a long while and has been standing in as active commander for the day. And you see fresh blood across her armor. She's leaning.
Quickly.
Hilo, sir, he's asking for your presence to negotiate. He has the honor guard down, all of them. He's gonna kill them if you don't show your face.
Gideon starts rushing to the workshop where his blade is. He doesn't say anything else. He just rushes.
I think Lens just like grabs your arm and is just like, get your blade after! Hilo can't get through the ward! You can negotiate from inside!
Fine. Bring it to me. And he rushes towards the, towards the ward.
So immediately you just start rushing towards the streets. There's people fleeing the opposite direction of the Great Barrier. You can see inner wall knights, those without arc blades, working to escort people away from the dockyard. You're gonna have to make a squeeze, or you can try to go through an alleyway, or just what kind of path are you making for yourself at this point?
I think he's fully just, I think he's just yelling, just clear the way now. Just
all
yelling,
right, yeah.
Just yelling as he goes through.
I want you to either roll performance or intimidation here. Up to you.
Oh, let's go performance here.
Gotcha.
That is let me just check those stats real quick.
Yeah.
That's a 23.
23. So immediately you are shouting out, clear the way, and quickly the knights and such, they take your command and such, and they are yanking people out of your way. People are just absolutely, like, as much as they are trying to get away, they are trying to make room for you. You brush against a couple of soldiers and people who can't quite get their footing, but you clear a sufficient enough path with people just... There's hysterics in the goddamn streets. But you quickly push past everyone, getting as quickly as you can to the outer wall as you make your way to the dockyard. The saltine air grows thick as you approach, but just as powerful as the scents, sights, and sounds of the coastline is the presence outside the wall. Its sensations are much more potent as you step into the shadow of a colossi. He casts a red sheen underneath him, one that glows as much as it brings darkness. The gargantuan, horrible thing is damn near the size of the portyard itself. Massive sets of red, brown, black, gold wings outstretched like a seraphim around that massive, blood-stained red and gray eye. The regal talisman that slides off his form swims through the air and caresses the great ward of Seperternum. There's this violating tremor to it as it does so, as if it's taking pleasure in the knowledge that throwing its disquieting mass against its own brother's ward will cause much upset inside the wall. And on the docks, you see the arrays of sinking ships ablaze in the water off in the distance. It's been near impossible recently from boats from the other countries to hit the docks because he sunk them all. But what may be a bit more quick to shoot into your vision is the array of bodies on the dockyard, about 20 astral elves strewn lifelessly. Their blood seeping into the coastal waves. Each of their bodies has been deliberately turned to face you, their eyes forced awake. You can see the twitches, the dribbling drool at their lips, the gloss. They're hurt, bleeding, oozing from wounds and radiant burns. But they're alive. Each and every one of them has been spared, but none of them can move. You felt it yourself in patrolling the perimeter, that Hilo's angels have these rays of great radiant paralysis that can stun you where you stand. Your honor guard has extensively trained to withstand these blasts from the angels, not from Hilo, who has never shown its great eye, or its face, to the edge of these walls. I've been informed that due to the nature of Veldrin's condition, that an audience with him is out of the picture. But I must say, I'm not quite certain what I expected when these little ones begged for the help of their captain. I expected someone with a bit more bite to their look. So then, son, are you the leader of these young strays?
Yes, I am. What is it you want?
You see the eye, like, kind of hone in on you a bit, kind of like a camera lens clicking forward. What, by chance... What kind of face is Gideon putting on right now? How are you trying to front?
Oh, let me...
Yeah. Oh, shit. I think we will be right back. We'll have to see how this transpires. For now, we're going to go on a loading screen as we're going to go on a quick break for just a second here. We'll be right back, hopefully. And we're back. Just a quick detour there. So, where we last left off... Ooh. Whose internet dropped? Is that mine? Fuck. There we go. Are we back?
Okay. Yeah, you're back.
Okay.
You're back.
Okay, sick. Okay, so... I was asking for what kind of face you were... Like, how are you fronting about this situation? What kind of, like, face are you putting on for this?
I think you're just putting on a stern face. Stern, serious face, you know, the usual.
And how does this contrast to how Gideon is actually feeling about the situation?
through a lot
Oh
in
my-
his head right now, just trying to figure out what exactly is going on. Just waiting anxiously for Lens to actually bring his blade to him, all these sorts of things. He's just covering it up right now.
I want you to roll, if you're covering it up with a facade, I want you to roll deception.
Alright, cool. That is a 28.
You are stared down by this massive eye. You see, for a second, what looks like a mote of confusion in this thing's face. Huh. I actually can't tell for once if that's a brave face, or if you truly are able to just stay so perfectly calm in this situation. Honestly, I would expect most people to start breaking down, seeing their brothers in arms strewn lifelessly against the dock. I wonder what about you makes you able to stand here with such poise, such vigor. Huh. Perhaps I judged you poorly on first impressions. Perhaps you do have a bite to you.
I'm not one for idle chatter. What is it you want?
Your honor guard have been a thorn in my side for some time. You see, I've not had the time to pay your little island a visit in the flesh, but, well, I'm sure you've received your little influx of refugees. I've wrapped up some loose ends, and it looks like this ward is all that's left. And your little guard protects the ward. Funny how that is. Protectors for the great protector. I see the way your lip curls. You fight in gauntlets that don't have covering of your fingers. Do you, my friend, enjoy the taste of grinding your teeth under your nails to pick out the saltine blood? I bet you do. So what I offer you is the fight of a lifetime, O exalted knight. You step out here and face me, and I return your guard.
Fine.
Easy as that, then.
Yes.
Go ahead,
Good
then.
timing anyways. My blade has been repaired recently and should be here any moment now.
Oh, I'm not giving you a moment. You're going to step out here right now. Can you still keep your poise without a blade in your hand? What do those blades do, anyways? You see one of
Scared
those...
you'll lose if I have it?
Oh, no. Not at all. I'm rather off-put by the use of those weapons, because to me, they always feel like they're holding something back. All you elves lead too front forward with them. I'd much prefer to see what you all look like under all that polished regalia. Under the smooth skin, the perfect red hair, the polished sword. I'm not scared I'll lose. I'm intrigued, really, to see maybe, for once, if I can find an entity not created by me that might actually be perfect. You've certainly
Yes,
got
I can
the
see how
posture.
that can be an issue. You clearly haven't done that for yourself yet.
Ooh. Biting back. What is it that you're smelling in the air right now in this situation?
smell anything. Just looking at a being seems to love the sound of their own voice more than anything else.
You've been able to come up with a contort for everything I've sent at you. Your stance has not faltered once. Surely not. Unless you really are the perfect captain, willing to sacrifice anything for his country, standing with such strong poise that you make a god of perfection so enamored. Well then, I suppose I will shut up. If you step before me, right now, no sword to hold you back, you can do whatever the hell you want to me.
Well, at this point, I think all Gideon can do right now is step forward, given everything else going on with the soldiers captive and everything else. Yeah.
You step out of the ward, feel the tense pulse in the air of just the sheer, unfathomable power of a colossi. Though Hilo does not extend it to you. When given the opportunity to strike unarmed, how do you most wish to rend my form?
And you mentioned something when we were discussing this specifically. You mentioned that Ichor Point was significantly more abundant now than in other places. So I just want to ask, would I have any on me right now?
I'd say yeah.
That's the case then. Then I think Gideon would is another question. Would I have any just like simple weapons on me, just like a plain dagger or anything like that?
You absolutely would have a plain dagger.
Alright.
Basic weapons. You also just have your fists, you have anything like that, anything you want to use. Fucking teeth.
And I think in response to Gideon, in response to Hilo's words, I think Gideon says, I tend to prefer to strike in the most effective way possible. And then I think in sort of one motion, he pulls out the dagger and the Ichor Point and sort of slathers the dagger in it and then stabs at Hilo.
Yeah. I want you to roll to hit, yeah.
Cool. That is a... let's see... Let me... Yeah, no, that's a 25.
25. Silvery barbs.
Alright. Hey, Dean?
Yeah.
That was better, and because of how silvery barbs work, I'm pretty sure that means I keep it.
Hell yeah. Sure
27.
does. Yeah, so with an immense and incredibly deadly precision, you the blade and immediately shunt it towards and forward and find yourself making purchase under Hilo's eye. I found it. I found it. Finally. Someone who, despite everything, can keep themselves postured, can't crumble under the pressure, just makes the right decision. I have never been so pleased. You feel kind of movement underneath the blade as you and watch as great blood starts to drip onto the coast and the dockyard. So I found it then. Someone perfect. Then perhaps I shan't attack this land. Is that it? It betrays everything I stand for. If I were to fight against something so good. And yet. And I want you to roll a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. That is a... What's that? 14? 19.
Like a bullet to the head. You feel yourself taking a step back and your body falling back through the ward onto the other side of it all. Your dagger makes a ferocious clatter against the dockyard. As you've managed to at least fall on your knees, hear a voice piercing and thundering in your head, one that's wavering with pain, pain that it then pierces through your own body. And yet, all this perfection that you seem to have, and yet, your posture was slouched. You hear this voice crawl further, ring deeper. I wish you bit me. At least then I would have been so repulsed by your failures that I wouldn't have dared to sully my form with your flesh. I know what perfection is. Yes. In this instance, you made the right choice. Congratulations, but that's not what you really want, is it? No, you want to ravage. You want to bring ruin, don't you? You want to claw. You want to bite. You want to hiss and snarl and ravage and rash your teeth against me. Congratulations. By not showing me who you truly are, you've solidified the coming of a new day by faking perfection that you don't have. Maybe next time you'll bite me. But by then, it won't be enough. Just like that horrible way that your parents always find something to pick on. It's just that same awful, tugging feeling as you've been knocked to your knees. You blink a couple times, your ears ringing, your head still hazy. By the time you regain your composure, Lenza's shaking your shoulder. Hey! Are you okay? What happened?
Seems we've staved off Hilo for another day at least.
Yeah. He's
Give him my
gone.
blades.
I do. He kind of like slowly drags them over to you.
Gideon takes them.
As you grip your hand against the blade, what's going through Gideon Gibraltar's mind right now?
I think as this moment passes, I think he starts to feel something welling up inside of him that before he can even really put it towards that specific feeling, it's taken away as he wraps his hands around the hilt of the blade.
Hide yourself. Hide yourself and watch it all turn to ruin. Gideon, Godbrand, your ears shudder with a piercing, shrill ring that pounds in your head. The thick, crumbling, cracking noise of sparking flame that makes everything feel like it's falling apart. The adrenaline that shoots arrows through your heart and joints. You're on the ground, heaving, heavy, slow, horrible breaths. Feel blood dripping down your body. You taste metal on your lips. Your head is spinning. It's that sensation of having been knocked entirely off your feet, of taking a strike a bit too strong and having all the wind and sense taken right out of you. Your head burns with visions of armor, visions of Hilo, visions of your reflection but different, and visions of holding it all back, of not being able to let it go, and it just growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. You said yes. You said yes. Help us get out. Free yourself. Free yourself.
I think as Gideon's starting to get up, he's starting to try to clear his head, and he starts, I think, reweaving his ward. And as he contemplates the words of, this voice, I think is the star still there?
You look around, and while you do indeed see the star in front of you, you no longer see the empty black void that it was previously submerged in. No, you're still in these depths that you were brought down into. And God, when did this place go up in flames? The smell is fucking awful. Century-old rank clothing and bodies going up in flame. Even worse is you know the horrid smell all too damn well. It's horridly bright. Your eyes can hardly adjust. This place has gone up in flame around you. Everything's different, and that mass of bodies, it is gone. It's just gone. Star is still there, though.
And I think, yeah, okay. I think taking in everything, and after sort of, finishing up, resealing his arcane ward, because doesn't take that long. Yeah. Okay, so then I think he would, looking around at everything, he's gonna reach out and grab the star.
You quickly reach out and grab onto it and kind of hold it close to you. And as you're able to turn it over in your hand, there's just this small kind of crystalline shard of starlight. Right now, it seems to have gone dormant after it gave you its first round of visions. It also feels like there's something more to it. Like it's been shrunken somehow. Like it can't release itself. Grab the star, and as you do, you also are made aware of another nearby voice. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. Zabalba, I'm sorry. You could mimic it exactly if you wanted to. It's your voice. Younger, a bit higher in pitch, but it keeps your tenor. That shouldn't happen. You're here, your mouth didn't move, and it's been years since you sounded like that. The fire that has taken this place up is red and orange. You see a paradox. On the ground, you just see a miserable form, hunched, with matted hair and a frame more malnourished than now. Your legs didn't work a while after the surgery to your spine. You see the way he's dragging himself across the ground by the arms in a desperate, pleading crawl. But there's something gripped in your younger you's palm, white-knuckled. A bladeless hilt. I think additionally, you see what your eyes looked like when the wards on their irises break. No abjuration symbol, no divination, they're pits. As you look at your form just crawling forward with a just pitiful desperation, you see what he's crawling towards. With apologetic, desperate, horrible, pleading eyes. He's looking at... It's blocking the police system back up. What have you unleashed? You're standing slightly off to the side, witnessing almost as an outsider the aftermath of what last happened when you let out this force.
Gideon just watches this unfold, not remembering really any of this.
I don't know. I didn't mean to. It was just... It was so right and everything, and there was so much pressure. So much. It was so loud. That's not an excuse. Look at the place around you. The flowers. Begonia. I will ask you once again, what have you unleashed? You see him just curl. He can't figure out the damn answer. He doesn't fucking know. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. And Zabalba starts walking towards him. You see his fingers cracking, starting to cast something psionic. I want you to do me a favor and never do that again. You understand me? Yeah, I do. I don't know what it was. It was just too much. It was too much, and it just hurt. Listen to me. Don't give me excuses, boy. Never do that again. You are going to look at me. Look at me! Look at me! Look. Give me your hand. See a hand desperately reached forward. Zabalba going to grab it. Can I trust you, Begonia? That you won't let this horrible thing exist? That you won't be awful after all I've done for you? You see his head just bow down and then lull towards you. And he's just looking at you. Mouth agape, unsure of what to say, what to do.
I think Gideon just looks at him and just says, Let it out. Let it all out.
What if it? But it's all madness. It's madness. It's madness. Isn't that bad?
Suppose you won't know until you try.
Do you know?
Maybe we should find out together.
Reaches a hand out towards you.
I think Gideon reaches his hand out too and takes it.
He just clutches it with this horrible, just clawing grip, and it digs into your palm. Why must we suffer, holding the weight of all of this back?
I don't know, but I also don't know if I care anymore.
And is that it? Are we mad gods?
The world have its labels. I don't care to define this, to live by these concepts thrusted at me, at us. I'm just gonna be as I am.
We're not Begonia.
No.
We're not Gibraltar. We're not mad gods.
No.
What the hell are we?
Let's find out.
He still has one hand holding onto you. One hand, the one with the sword hilt in it, being grabbed by Zabalba's. He molds his head towards the sword and is gonna try and yank it away.
Oh, I think Gideon's gonna help.
Mm-hmm. I want you to... You know what? In what kind of manner are you going about this? Is it a yank? Is it just trying to help him, just guide him gently? Is it trying to push Zabalba away? What the fuck is it? Is there desperation?
Gideon's gonna bite off one of Zabalba's fingers. Try to at least.
You immediately, just seeing him struggle to pull the blade out, you just kind of run your tongue over your teeth for just a second, and in a sudden, just quick and immediate movement, you pull your younger self away, shield him, snap forward, and clamp down, and bite. And spit 2 skeletal fingers onto the ground. Well, now, that's certainly unexpected of you, and unbecoming. Like it or not, I cannot allow you to unleash this again. For your own sake. thought you'd understand by now why I sealed this away. But no. You're an animal. Rabid. Wild. I will put this part of you down. I will give it what it deserves. If you can't, I will do it for you. I have always done things that are best for you. And I will do it again. Roll for initiative.
Alright. That is a 14.
14. You go first.
Cool.
So, you are, like, the kind of, like, entire space is burning around you. There is a battle map. I'm not sure how pertinent it is, considering how close quarters this is. But if you want it, I will give it.
I don't think I need it.
Gotcha. Right, yeah. So you are just 5 feet in front.
Cool. Oh, yeah, I'm just gonna throw it to disintegrate.
Fuck yeah. Immediately just, like, spit those 2 fingers on the ground and then just, like, reach forward and cast out a disintegrate. Go for it. And what do I have to roll? Ooh.
That is a dex save, if I remember correctly.
Dexterity saving throw. Hey, guess what? Guess what Zabalba's worst stat is? Fucking dex. No one tried dex saves on the first fight with this guy. So, immediately, you are just going to cast your hand up and throw out a disintegrate. That was a 10.
That is definitely a failure.
Yep.
So you take... that is gonna be 86 force damage.
Yep. So, immediately, you just cast it. Give me some fucking flavor, man. What's Gideon doing? How's he acting?
I think Gideon has a snarl on his face. He's so tired, so mad, just furious. He's done. He's just done with all of this, and I think he reaches out and grabs Zabalba by its skull and just casts it.
Yeah, fuck yeah, abso-fucking-lutely. And you just, like, keep kind of pushing your fingers into its skull, just trying to crack open, and you start to see splits and tears being opened inside. And you're just trying to clamp it and clap it forward. You are... Is that your turn?
Let me see. Yes, I think that's all I can... that's all I'm gonna do right now, yes.
You are met in turn with a hand reaching out and grasping onto your neck and just go, "Have you any self-preservation? I thought you cared about your mind and you would throw it away so senselessly. Foolish boy, you could be so much more if you just listened." And in turn, Zabalba is gonna try to, like, basically just kind of shoves you off and is gonna try and mind blast you. I need you to make an intelligence saving throw.
Cool. Mind Blast. Is that an ability or a spell? I can't remember.
That is a psionic spell.
Cool. Okay, well that's a 19 on the die for a total of 32.
For a total of 32, and correct me if I'm wrong, you have your, like, don't you have mind blanked up?
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, it should be up because we haven't been in Seperternum that long, so yeah, it would be up.
You take no damage. See, you still care about your mind and you'd throw it away so senselessly on this madness. Just like, I mean, you can tell that it's fucking reeling. It's trying to make sure you don't come to a revelation. And in turn, with the Mind Blast done, that can be first, and it can also make 2 others with the Mind Blast. So, is going to try and just grab onto you and try and push you off with kind of this, like, shoving hand that swirls with this kind of forceful, paralyzing energy. Stay down and stay still. I can still fix you, Begonia. That was a... That was a 22 to hit?
22 to hit?
Yep.
Shield. Doesn't
Shield?
hit.
Yep, fuck yeah. Yep, so you immediately, honestly, for flavor, I think it's not even you that casts shield. I think it's the other you. Just reaches a hand up and throws it out around you, and you just feel this kind of protective veil come over you, and this time it burns much more red than normal. It starts to kind of crack and flame and spark as the shield wraps around. So, it immediately gets kind of shunted off to the side, and Zabalba just, once again, head kind of crumbling at this point. You see some points just falling off at this point, just bits of bone. It has one more attempt. Nope, that was lower. It's not gonna hit. So, nothing is able to be done to you at this point, so it's your turn.
Fuck it. I'm done. I'm gonna cast Disintegrate at 9th level.
Hell yeah, you are.
And I think it's that same sort of grabbing. He just feels this just fiery feeling boiling up into him and coming out of just through his whole body, through his arms, to his fingertips, and he casts Disintegrate 9th level, so that's another dex save.
Fuck yeah, you do! Natural fucking 1!
Oh my god, that's gonna be so much fucking damage.
Do the damage!
Jesus Christ, because that's 10, so that's gonna be, yeah, that's gonna be 19d6.
Yeah, all doubled.
Jesus Christ. That is gonna be, holy shit, let me do the math here. It's gonna be 214 damage.
And how does Gideon do this?
I think Gideon, he just has this anger in his eyes, and I think he just grabs Zabalba by the front of its face and pushes it to the ground. And I think as it and he just presses down, and I think as he does, that orange stark red starts coming from his fingertips, from his hands. It just grows and grows, just expels out onto this thing's face.
It is an immolating, horrible miasma. And yet, it is exactly what you have been chasing. Red, orange, red, orange. That glow. Beautiful, horrible glow. You can't hold it back any longer. It's been so much pressure on every part of your being. On your bones, on your shoulders, in your mind, in your eyes. You blink as this flame erupts from you. No, it is not refined just yet. Right now, it's just chaos. It's just letting it out for the first time in so long. Remembering when it's been there with you. You remember in Seperternum when that board charred and raged against your face. You remember just seeing that light. God, it was the only thing that kept you focused, that kept you alive. It was the only part of your broken senses that kept going, just grabbing on to that light that reminded you that, God, you were alive, broken but alive. You're alive. You're you. You're mad. You're fucking mad. You're fucking mad, but you're free. You are free. The flame swirls around you, and you can hardly even tell where Zabalba, where that even was, because it's just fire. You stand in the midst of a revelation. There was never any paradox you made. No, what instead happened is this was hidden from you, taken from you. Because everyone's scared of a madman with power, right? So, in the midst of an ever-burning inferno. How would you like to close us out?
I think Gideon stands there among the flames, looks around, and then reaches into a pocket and pulls out the shard of what was left. And I think he just stares at it and says, oh, okay, and he says, "This is where you lead me. It's where more of you will lead me and guide the way."
And we are going to end this one shot off here. Ooh. Fuck, yeah. Oh, I'm gonna have to send you that shit during the VOD, but I was ripping Midra's theme, and it hit that, like, one peak where the violin swells right at the fucking ending, like, oh, god, that was so fucking ridiculous, holy shit. So, viewers at home, hand fire? I don't know, the Curse of Ones players have been going fucking insane recently, claiming
Fire,
Gideon...
boat, hand, door, boat,
door, heart,
fire,
foot, hand, hook, doorman, door, car, hand. Oh, god. Fuck, yeah. 2 hours, short, sweet. Hey, we got through a lot. So, without further ado, let's go through some quick closing thoughts here. I guess it's kind of hard to do one-on-one, but just... we'll debrief here for a sec. Once again, lovely to have you all who came and showed up for the very late night stream. I'm Dean, the Dungeon Master, once again. And my closing thought on all of this is just, goddamn, you guys are not ready for what's about to come from Gideon. There's some...
I am. I don't
you
know what
are.
you're talking about. I'm fully
You are.
ready.
But everyone else watching, lock in. There's some good shit coming. Other than that, welcome everyone to the official announcement of the Exalted Ones. We gotta look into another form of Gideon there. Well, let's just say this is not the end of that Gideon story. And it most certainly is not the end of our Gideon story either. I'd say this is just a good new beginning. That's my remark. Tony.
Let's see, that was sick.
Glad.
Yeah. Let's see, I guess if you're one of the other cursed ones watching right now, don't worry about it. Just
Don't worry
sort of
about it.
memory hold this whole one shot and just don't think about it.
Just don't even worry about it. It's not real.
Yeah.
It can't hurt you. Just, you know, here, I know immediately how to brain rot them all into forgetting this ever happened. Gideon, fire hand, door, hook, car hand, fire hand, door, Gibby Godbrand.
Yeah, but Godbrand. Sorry, Ethan.
Godbrand. Alright, well, goddamn, good shit. Good fucking shit, man. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in for this little one-shot, and we will hopefully see you guys Sunday for the next episode of The Cursed Ones. Bye!